In the world today, it feels like every aspect of our lives are impacted by technology. From the job you go to every day, to the car you drive, it seems like everything is connected to the internet. In the short span of 20 years, we've gone from computers being a luxury to something just about everyone has in their back pocket. It is common to partake in social media such as Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Tumblr, and to use these platforms to express one's own opinions. It is important that we recognize these opinions and viewpoints as free speech and to protect them online just as we would in real life. Free speech is just as important online as it is offline. In American society, one of the most important values is free speech. Written as the First Amendment in our Bill of Rights, freedom of speech allows one the right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint, whether these opinions are controversial or not. It is important to carry over this idea of free speech into the digital world. If only approved opinions and approved information can make its way onto the internet, we risk becoming a single-sided, closed-minded society. Who's approving this information? Without free speech, how could we raise important questions about our government and others in power? Wouldn't those in power censor information they deem negative to their reputation? It is important for the average American to be able to post what they want, about what and who they want. One might argue that free speech isn't beneficial to the digital world. If anyone can say anything, this includes the spread of misinformation and opinions that might be considered hate speech, and thus should be censored online. To this, I raise the argument of comparing this to a real-world example. What does one do when confronted with these issues in reality? To censor certain kinds of speech online is an injustice not only to those whose speech is censored, but to those who will ever experience said speech. While not necessarily a good thing, opposing and controversial opinions are vital in forming a viewpoint in the world today. It teaches one that not every opinion will be like their own and gives them an idea of how their opposition feels. As for websites and online sources that spread misinformation, I feel falling for this leads one to become more critical of what they are reading. After a few times of falling for the misinformation trap, the usual response would be a desire to not be tricked again. Overall, these issues, while on the surface bad, can be beneficial in shaping how one interacts with the world around them. Under the protections of the Bill of Rights, we as Americans are free to criticize the government and the way it is run. Online you will find a wide variety doing just this. However, some would argue that we don't have free speech in this regard. To that I say they are misunderstood. Our protections of free speech are from the government, meaning they can't silence you. A private organization, such as YouTube, can. On YouTube, many content creators make their living off the monetization of their videos. In recent years, YouTube has demonetized, or stopped paying, certain creators based on the type of content they create. This usually happens to controversial or conservative content creators. While this is horrible, I don't agree with taking away something someone once said just because of a difference of opinion. YouTube is within their means. They aren't removing anyone's videos because of an opinion they express, and they are still free to continue making videos on their opinion. They just won't be making money on it. Imagine a conservative website, where the predominant view was conservative with conservative users. If someone with liberal views started posting on said website, do you think their posts would be promoted? They would still be allowed to make their posts, but just because they aren't supported doesn't mean their speech is being silenced. Even if their posts are being deleted and they are banned from the site, they can still post their opinions to the world on another site if they choose to do so. This issue matters because if no one cares, we all might find ourselves in a situation where we are actually silenced online. If there is no resistance, what is stopping those in charge from censoring vital opinions and viewpoints on their actions? Every instance of government censorship online is important to fight. One day it might be a soda company shutting down a website that exposes its products as unhealthy. The next it could be a major government organization filtering any and every negative word spoken about them in order to keep the guise of utopia, when in reality it is anything but. Our rights aren't taken away overnight. They are picked off bit by bit without us knowing until we have nothing left. If we don't care now, we might not have a chance to care in the future. We need to be mindful of when our online content is censored and for what reason. Who is censoring our content and why? Even in cases of private websites deleting content, we need to be wary. We need to ask ourselves if there is an outlet for our thoughts online, and if not, then why not? We need to be unafraid to stand up to unjustified censorship. Know your rights and know that you can peacefully defend them. Don't let anyone silence your opinions, just because they are different. On that note, it is also important to understand what is censorship and what is breaking the law. Posting threats online only to receive backlash, erasure of your content, and even legal prosecution isn't censorship, it's law enforcement. An opinion is saying something such as, "I think this person should die." This statement, while could have implications that you want to kill said person, doesn't directly say you are going to kill them. However, a statement such as, "I am going to kill this person," can be taken as fact, a statement with intent, a threat. Direct threats happen to be illegal, and you can expect consequences just as you would have in real life. With the current threat of terrorism from overseas and even within our own borders, you can expect backlash from these posts to be at an all-time high, and you can guarantee direct threats to murder someone or enact a mass shooting will be met with serious consequences. In conclusion, remember that free speech, online or off, should always be protected. Even if it's something you don't agree with. Different opinions are important to understanding your own opinions and shaping how you feel. Just because you are being blocked from one website, doesn't mean you are blocked from the entire web. There are countless places to freely speak your mind online and be accepted if you look hard enough. Remember to defend others' rights to speak, as their rights are the same as yours and are just as important.